Hey guys, welcome back to 2020 MMA, and we're going to be taking a look at UFC 247 happening this Saturday night. I'm really excited, and we are really freaking spoiled as fans because, we had Conor McGregor, now we got John Jones, next is Israel Adesanya, and then, of course, right after that is Khabib. But, of course, let's get into it. No more wasting time. Alright guys, UFC 247 happening this Saturday, February 8th, 2020, only on pay-per-view. It's actually not the most exciting card top to bottom, but there are some pretty exciting fights. I'm going to take a look at some of them. We're going to start off obviously with the undercard, so let's get into it. Now, the first actual couple fights on the card are going to be bantamweight fights, which is 135 pounds if you don't know. The first one that I actually want to take a look at, or the only one I guess I should say, is Miles John and Mario Bautista. All right, I'm going to keep it simple. John's 10-0, Bautista 7-1. That one loss coming to Cody Sandhagen, which is understandable considering like Sandhagen is on freaking fire in bantamweight. John's 10-0 coming off the Contender Series, actually split decision in his UFC debut technically. So it'll be interesting to see where these two guys end up at the end of the night. I can see John's winning this by decision, just nullifying Bautista out completely. And I think that's actually going to happen. That's going to be my prediction, John's by decision. But I can see Bautista, surprising everybody because he did have some nice right hands against his last opponent in Korea. I can't pronounce his name, but he did well. So we got Alex Morono and Kalen Williams. This is going to be my hardest prediction, mainly because Kalen Williams, I haven't really heard of him. I do know he fought in WXC's on a 4-fight winning streak, and now he's coming into the UFC against an actual veteran of the sport. Alex Morono himself is on a 3-fight winning streak, coming off, I believe it was a decision win over Max Griffin. So, this guy's been around. His last loss was actually to Jordan Meehan, and that was a long time ago, back in 2018. It'll be interesting to see where these guys match up. I have to go with Morono on this. I'm going to keep it simple. I think the UFC jitters will be a little much for Williams. He's a great fighter from what I've seen, but I just think Morono takes the cake. He has the experience factor, and he's not a bad fighter himself. And I think he's going to pick up his 4th dub in a row and end Kalen's. Now, every undercard, there is always one fight that I'm the most excited for. This one being the women's flyweight bout between Lauren Murphy and Andrea Lee. Now, this is a really exciting fight. I don't think Lauren Murphy has much of a chance against Andrea Lee, mainly because her only loss in recent memory is literally against JoJo, and that was only by split decision. It was a very freaking close fight. It could have gone either way, but she is a former champion of LFA. She was on a 3-fight winning streak in the UFC before that loss to Calderwood, and I think she's just going to pick up that momentum again. Murphy really hasn't shown me that she can do much against a rising contender like Lee. She is coming off of a KO win in the 3rd round, but that wasn't against an opponent like, of Lee's caliber. So I'm going to have to give it to Lee here, either by KO or decision. And surprise, surprise, we have another Contender Series winner competing in the main event of the undercard. We have Mr. Trevin Giles against Antonio Herrero. I hope I'm not butchering those names too badly. But Antonio, he's actually on a 2-fight losing streak, losing both those fights actually by 3rd round submission. That sucks. Giles, on the other hand, in his 2nd Contender Series bout, he actually won via submission. In his UFC debut, he's lost by unanimous decision. And I can see the UFC setting their Contender Series guy to be able to use his wrestling effectively, and potentially, Antonio's obviously been susceptible to the submission and the ground game, and I think that's what they're just going to be setting up. I don't think he's going to pull it off. I'm going with Giles via decision. Take it away, Mike.
Let's get ready to rumble!
starting off the main card, we have the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, and the Sledgehammer, Ilir Latifi. This is a heavyweight bout, so everyone loves Derek Lewis. I mean, I just gotta show this clip. Check it out.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off?
My balls was hot.
I understand.
And, of course, we have Ilir Latifi, a little more serious, but according to mybookie.com, he is the underdog at plus 200, and Derek Lewis is the minus 260. Now, I think this is mainly because it's Ilir Latifi's first fight in the heavyweight division from light heavyweight on a 2-fight losing streak, most recently to Volkan Ozdemir and before that to Corey Anderson. And I'm not really liking his chances against the Black Beast himself. I know he did get knocked out by JDS, but, most recently came off the decision win over Ivanov. And I really think this is going to be the fight that really shows off Lewis's, brawl style, you can say. And I really can see him winning this by knockout. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ilir is a beast if you have not seen him. The guy is a freaking actual Viking. But, I mean, he's the Black Beast. And I'm not freaking betting against him ever again. After that Volkov fight, never again. So anyways, with that being said, Derek Lewis, either first or second round TKO. Now, continuing on through the main card, we go to the featherweight division, where we meet Dan Ige and Mirsad Bektic. Now, Bektic is the minus 140 favorite, and Ige is the plus 110 underdog, according to mybookie.com. And I really like this fight. This is probably the most exciting fight for me, apart from the two big ones, of course. And the main reason why is because of Ige and his rise up the rankings. He's been really quiet. I believe he lost his UFC debut, if I'm not mistaken. But, now he's on a 4-fight winning streak. He's coming off the win over Chris Aguilar via decision. And he's looked really good overall in these last couple fights. Going on to the other side, you have Bektic coming off the loss to Josh Emmett. Nothing to squall at. Emmett's a great fighter and can catch anybody. But, he has got that experience factor, and I think that's why he's the favorite. With that being said, though, I think the odds really are in favor of Ige if you're a betting man. He is a really, really strong up-and-comer coming up these rankings. I know the featherweights or 145-pound division is just, a shark tank right at the moment. But I can see him pulling off the dubs. I'm going to take Ige via decision over Emmett. Now, I really don't know why these guys are on the main card in such a predominant spot before the co-main event. Really, to be honest with you, I saw both these guys' last fights. It was not impressive whatsoever. I don't know what Dana's doing, but I'll go through it as fast as possible. Tava coming off of the knockout loss to De Castro in his freaking hometown. And, of course, Adams coming off the knockout loss to Greg Hardy in the first round in 45 freaking seconds. Now, Juan Adams is the minus 225 favorite, and Tava is a plus 185 underdog. Now, I do like Juan Adams to win it. I do think that he's probably going to, just based on experience. But it is a heavyweight fight, and I love the odds like this, especially with heavyweights. Anything can happen. Justin Tava, if you put down, $50 for a plus 185, it's a heavyweight bout. Anything can happen. But if you want my predictions, Juan Adam, if you want to have fun and make a little bet and try and make some money, I have no problem taking Tava, and I'm probably going to take Tava in a bet. Finally, we get to the co-main event of the evening, the Women's Flyweight Championship title on the line. Valentina Shevchenko putting up her title against Caitlin Chukagian. I hope I said that name right. Now, Caitlin is doing very well for herself. Obviously, she's earned the title shot coming off of the win over Jennifer Maia, and before that, Joanne Calderwood. But the one thing that really sticks out is before that, she lost to Jessica Ai, and we all know what Valentina did to Jessica Ai. That was one of the most brutal knockouts we've seen in women's history, for that matter. And, of course, Shevchenko most recently coming off a decision win over Liz Carmouche. So this is really her third title defense, and I think she's going to pull it off. MyBookie.com has her as the biggest favorite of the card at minus 1,040, and Caitlin is the plus 720 underdog. So again, for betting wise, you can have fun with this. Maybe put down $50, $100, nothing too crazy. But this is one of those fights I wouldn't even bet on because Shevchenko has just been such a beast. I'm almost like kissing that money goodbye at this point. Yeah, the odds are fun and it would be amazing to see it, but I don't see it happening. Shevchenko, that counter striking her entire game overall. When I went to see her live in Toronto when she actually fought for the vacant title against Joanna, oh my goodness, she looked like a beast out there. It was absolutely insane. I got to give this one to Shevchenko. I actually don't think she's going to finish Chookagian. Chookagian has got a very underrated stand-up game. The only thing I can really see falling into Shevchenko's game plan is that Chookagian will come out with a little too aggressive, and Shevchenko will find those counters and just knock her out. But as I said, my prediction: Valentina Shevchenko via decision. All right, finally we get to the fight we've all been waiting for. Johnny Bones Jones versus Dominic the Destroyer Reyes. This is going to be a very freaking fun fight. Not just as a fight fan, the odds are actually going to be fun to play with as well. John Jones minus 465, Reyes at plus 340. Now, a lot of people are giving Reyes shit because he just beat Weidman, an oversized middleweight, and then he gets a title shot. Yeah, I get that. But you can't forget his 2 wins before that over Ozdemir and St. Preux. Nothing to squawk at. And then, of course, John Jones, we all know, being Gustafsson, most recently Anthony Smith and Thiago Santos. But that Santos fight was close. He was playing Santos's game the entire time. Now, if these guys are getting complacent, like I want to use Anderson as a prime example with his Matrix crap, and then obviously getting caught by Chris Weidman. It's stuff like that where you try and test yourself and you try and push that envelope, I guess. And John is trying to do that. He's trying to make a legacy. He's trying to make a statement. I commend him for it. He is doing an amazing job. He's taken out a who's who of the light heavyweight competition. But you have Dominic Reyes, a guy who really has impressed me in the stand-up game. That's where I think this is going to be an interesting fight. This is a very intelligent fighter. This isn't a brawler. This isn't some badass, guy coming off the streets and trying to knock your head off and has, all this background MMA training. This is an actual athlete just like Jones himself. And he's very, very good at multiple sports. He was actually almost had an NFL career at one point, Mr. Reyes. I know Bones has family in the NFL and had his own spiels with other sports, but you have to give Reyes credit where credit is due. And it would be fun to see Reyes knock Jones out. I know I might get some shit for that, but hey, this is a prediction video. I'm also a fight fan. I'm thinking that John Jones is going to win by decision. He's just going to be too much for Reyes at this point in time in Reyes' career, but I'm still going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm putting $200 down on Reyes just because it's going to be a fun freaking fight, and I just like the guy. I like the way he handles himself. I like the way he speaks, and I really like the way he fights. It's going to be fun regardless, so I guess we'll find out Saturday night if I'm right or wrong. It's still going to be a fun night regardless. Johnny Bones Jones, always fun to watch. Thank you guys for staying to the end of the video. If you have, please leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Really helps me out. Take care, guys. Have a good night, and see you after the fights.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.